Howdy. So, the biggest shame in the whole Mummers Native American and Indian call center thing, um, it's not so much the cultural appropriation or even the flat-out insults of it. It's that all of these mummers do have ancestral roots in some indigenous culture that is very different than the one they live in now. And whether this native culture was Celtic or one of the thousands of different language groups in Italy before Rome is for each of those South Philly dudes to figure out, and for all of us really, because that story is worth learning, you know, where you come from and how you got here. Because, you know, an overview of basically everybody's story is that at some point or other your ancestral tribal group was defeated and forced to assimilate into some kind of nation state or kingdom, and after being treated as likely second-class citizens or even worse, slaves, or something in between like feudal peasants, like most of us from the European lands, after our ancestors were treated like that for hundreds of years, you know, they forgot that they too used to live in an indigenous lifestyle. But they still knew that they weren't living freely, and they sought freedom. So pretty much everybody in this country who's not a first-generation immigrant, their ancestors came here fleeing oppression and seeking freedom, you know, life outside of the abuses of an upper class. Unfortunately, once arriving in America, many people found conditions similar to those described in Uptan Sinclair's The Jungle, or in the film, depicted in the film, The Gangs in New York. And I myself find that I am dwarfed by a massive society that I have little influence over, because I'm not wealthy enough to influence a large section of the populace, or influence like through media, or to, you know, to lobby a representative. So as such, I mean, it makes sense to me that these South Philly dudes who don't know this story, you know, where they came from, or, you know, perhaps have adopted the story of the people that brought them into this society. But anyway, either way, that they make fun of the groups that they perceive to be below them on this hierarchy, you know. And I mean, that makes sense. Like, people bully the people beneath them when they feel powerless, and it's unfortunate, because in the process they insult not only their own ancestors by traipsing around in this nonsense, but also these people that are still alive from these other cultures. And, you know, that's a shame. But they also, you know, they insult all of us alive right here and now, because it's a division, you know. It keeps us from coming together as one people and on this earth, because it's well past time for each of us to honor our indigenous heritage and learn those stories and figure out what exactly happened, and, you know, how did this come to be. Because in that way we can truly bond together and outgrow oppression in any of its forms. Yeah. So yeah, I gotta learn my story too.